guys. Hey, oh, this is so uncomfortable for me. I hate doing this, but I'm doing it for my own sanity. So bear with me. I've got a few things to say. I hope you don't mind. I want to start with my dad always said, believe half of what you hear. And no, I'm sorry. He didn't say that. He said, believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. And I think that's really good advice. I've tried to live that way a lot. It helps keep your mind out of gossip and other things that, just aren't worth your time and are very harmful and hurtful. So, anyway, I think it's important right now more than ever that we kind of adopt that philosophy. If it's not already part of yours, you might think about it because it's hard right now, I believe, to trust. So, I think we're all looking at America going right now going, what's it going to look like? What's it going to take to get back to where we were? If you're like I am, you absolutely hate the new normal. I hate that. If I hear it one more time, I think I'm going to puke. But because I don't know about you, but my life's never been normal. And I don't think anybody's is. So I think that word's just a word thrown into the dictionary for God knows what. But anyway, what's it going to look like? What's our freedom going to look like? Are we going to be free? I mean, we have been around now for a couple of hundred years as Americans, and we have freedom in our DNA. So we're going to have to learn how to live together free. Those who are afraid and those who aren't. We've got to learn how to be together and respect each other and be kind to one another. There's nothing that should divide us, but all kinds of things are. So I want to talk about that. Why are we afraid? I'm not, but why are people afraid? I'm afraid of losing my freedom. That's the only thing I'm afraid of right now. I'm afraid of that, and I admit that. But I'm not afraid physically for reasons that I can sort of explain quickly. I'm proactive with my health. I started doing that many years ago. I fortify my immune system often, all during the day. I'm using things that are fortifying it. I am careful. We have a very severely handicapped son. He's 35 and spent 17 years being very, very, very sick. He's nearly died twice. So, we've lived cautiously with our health for many, many years to protect him. He lives with us. So we're careful. We wash our hands constantly. We don't let him go places during regular flu seasons. We're careful about who he's surrounded by. So we aren't fearful of our health. Financially, we learned many years ago that we needed to have different streams of income because we don't know what our future holds. We don't know what's going to happen to our regular jobs if we have them, and we don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to have a car wreck? Are we going to have tornadoes, hurricanes, whatever? We have to fortify our incomes. And so we started doing that years ago. Emotionally and socially, we're kind of used to being quarantined because like I said, we take care of our son. And so, that kind of keeps us at home a lot. And those of you who follow us on Facebook know that we have our fair share of fun and socializing and going on trips. And we've been blessed to have great caregivers to help us with that. But, we're also used to being home a lot. So that's not something we fear. We know how to handle that. We've found ways around it. And so, again, not afraid. And spiritually, the same thing. We've had to do virtual church a lot in our lives. And so, it's great to have community worship. I went back to church 2 weeks ago and I was in tears. It was so emotional for me, and to use the term spiritual, it was wonderful to be together again. And I hope you guys have had that same experience. So, anyway, so we have not been afraid, much to the chagrin of many of our friends and family. We really haven't changed our lives that much. We've researched the research, and if you've done the same, which I'm sure many of you have, you've looked at some pretty crazy things, both ends of the spectrum, and they have been crazy both ways. And then somewhere in the middle is where we hope to find some truth. This has been an experiment. This has been something that's been really exposed a lot for all of us in a lot of ways, some good, some bad. And, I think we've all grown from it, and we've learned, we've, hopefully you all going forward, when this happens again, which, we're still in it. They feel like they've, get thrown us a bone here, but, when it happens again and they're strict with quarantines or whatever, I think we've all learned ways that going forward, we're not going to be afraid next time, and we're not going to allow certain things to change for us. So anyway, that's not really why I got you on here, or why I got on here. We know 100%, whether it was this end of the spectrum or this end of the spectrum, we know 100% that we've got to have a strong immune system going forward, whether it's COVID-19, COVID 142, or SARS 229. We've got to have a strong immune system, and we can build that immune system. God designed it for us to fight things off, and we've got to be bold with that sometimes, and we've got to take some of the good with the bad. But there are ways to build our immune system. There are ways for us to get rid of some of the comorbidities that we found have been really compromising people and making them more susceptible to the bad side effects and death in this disease. So some of those things are preventable. Some of those things are reversible. Obesity. Now, maybe for some of you it's not, but for a lot of people, they can lose 20, 30 pounds. We can get our blood pressure under control. We can get our blood sugar under control. Not type 1. Don't text me and say, oh, you can't do that. I know that. But type 2, you can many times reverse and change with lifestyle. So we need to be aware of those things. And if getting healthy before wasn't a reason, maybe this is. Maybe this is going to be your what is that? What is that moment? Well, we'll call it a light bulb, but that's not the word I was looking for. But anyway, maybe this is going to be your moment when you go, yeah, I really do need to take control of my health. I know I've been needing to, now I'm going to. Maybe you need to stop smoking. Maybe you need to get out and exercise more. All of those things are important. And if we haven't learned that from this, guess what happens when you don't learn from bad experiences? You get them again. You have to go through it again and again and again and again until you get it. It's just the way the world works, the universe, God. It just happens. So let's learn our lessons here. And if we didn't do things proactively before, let's change that and do that for next time. Is that going to help you if there's a hurricane? Probably not health-wise, but it will financially. Okay, so I was also, before Matthew, before all of this happened, before I started changing my income streams, I was a small business owner. And I thought that was a way that I could financially help the family and help take care of some of the hospital bills that we had. And, some of the things that young couples do stupidly with their finances, and old couples, not a young person thing. But we knew that we had to do that. And, so I had these small businesses so that I could be flexible with my time and be able to take care of Matthew when he needed me at home. And so I've been there. I know what small business ownership is like. So some of you, and I mean this sincerely, some of you are hurting in that category, and I understand that totally. I do not make light of that. I love small businesses. I do my best. Craig and I have done our best through this whole thing, never to change our buying habits. We've tried to support the businesses in our community, and we want them to come back. But I know reality is some of you won't be able to reopen, and I'm so sorry about that. I know you've poured your heart and soul. I know you've poured your savings in some cases into those businesses. You've worked night and day. And when people didn't show up, you did. I get that. So I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that it's happened the way it's happened. I'm sorry if you're going to go back and maybe start over. You can open those small businesses. But the things that you've been able to save have they've all been used up. You're going to have to replenish that, and I'm sorry. I am very sorry. But the other thing is that some of you are going to go back and you're going to thrive, and that's great. I am so thrilled for you. But I want you to think ahead. What is your plan B? You know, back to me being a problem solver. Maybe I haven't mentioned that yet. I've done this video 4 times. And so I may be repeating myself, but you know, I love to solve problems. Those of you who know me know that I love people. You know that I love to help people. I love to help people who are trying to help themselves, and they just can't get ahead for whatever reason. I love doing that. I'm a problem solver. That's what I was going to say. You know, I've been on many committees in my life, and I know I've driven those people nuts. I'm sorry. I drive my husband nuts. I drive my kids nuts. I always look ahead and say, okay, we're going to plan to do this, but what if the plan goes this way? What are we going to do? You know, what if we take that fork and it goes this way? What are we going to do? I am a plan B person, C, D, E, F, G person. I like to do that. And you know, maybe because I like to do it, I'm not too bad at it. So, you know, I like doing that. And I think many of you do. And I think that this trial that we're going through has made those things really difficult. We know what to do to help people, but sometimes we're restricted on that. So I think that as we go forward, and as we not when something else happens, it's not if, I mean, it's when. So if something happens, you know, whenever that is, we're more prepared. We're more prepared with our health, and more prepared with our bank accounts, and we're more prepared emotionally, and we know what we're going to tolerate and what we're not going to tolerate in some cases. So I think we've all learned a lot. I want to say this, and again, I'm not disrespectful to people who have really extreme challenges, because I have many friends who do, and I have a son who does. But for most of us, you know, those things that I talked about earlier, those things can be the immune system and the diabetes, high blood pressure, those sorts of things. Some things that we struggle with our heart, those things are even things that we can transform. So, you know, if you can go forward and say, I'm going to take control of those things, you're going to be miles and miles ahead in the next crisis that this country faces or the world faces. You know, I've learned a lot economically over the years. I got a business degree. I've learned a lot in business and by rubbing shoulders with other business people. Like I said earlier, I learned how to think outside that box, and I'm so glad that I did, because in doing that, I have found lots of mentors and coaches through the years that have really helped me fortify and learn how to think differently in business, how to fortify my economic situation. You know, what Craig and I do is we help people build economies within the economy of our country, of the world. We help people build their health, and we enjoy doing that. And we like I said, we have not come to this easily. We didn't pull this stuff out of thin air or anywhere else. we have studied it and we know that it's possible. We've lived it. We've lived it twice now. We built another business out in this industry and we're very successful. And we left it, walked away, and started over. We wanted to be part of something new and exciting. We felt like the business that we were getting into is going to be, we believe it's going to be $1 billion industry. We did 12 million in sales our first month. So we know we're on to something really good. I want to help you. If you want help, I want to help you change what can happen to you in the what ifs of life. I want to enlighten you. I don't care if you don't like what I do. I think many of you think you know what I do. You've already said no, you don't want to do what I do, and that's fine. But I think some of you who did that don't really know what I do. I think you've heard, don't believe what you hear, just believe what you see. You know, have you seen us become successful? Yes, you have. And I'm surrounded, Craig and I are surrounded by people like that, people who have helped people get out of bankruptcy, people who have helped people do other things. So we've been down those roads and you've seen that happen with us. So I want to invite you. Now, here's the thing. Don't hang up. Don't disconnect yet. Again, what I said a while ago, I don't care what you think. I just care what you know. And I want to educate you. I want to give you some things to think about. Some of you have been supplementing. Good for you. I hope all of you are. And if you're not, I can't even for the life of me figure out why. Except that maybe you know that most supplements go directly into the toilet. Just a fact. They do. Most of what you get over the counter, not all, but most of what you're getting, if you're not educated and buying the right stuff, is going directly into the toilet. You might absorb 3 to 15, 20% at best of those supplements. So you can choose to put your money in the toilet, or you can choose to put your money into your health. So today, either at 2, depending on if I get this on Facebook in time, 2, 4, 6, we're going to be doing a little Zoom, me and my friends and I. So we're going to do a little Zoom, and it's going to be about 30 minutes long, and it's going to teach you some of the things that we have learned about fortifying the immune system and doing some different things health-wise. We're also going to show you a business model that works. It works. The only way it doesn't work is if you don't work the system. And we can teach you how to do that. We do that. We do that for free. You don't go to work for us. We go to work for you. So if you want to take a look and say, that's stupid. I knew it was stupid. No big deal. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with a qualified, no, I don't want to. But you might look at it and say, you know, this isn't for me, but I know somebody that really needs this, whether it's the products or whether it's the business. You're going to see something in there that's going to spark a thought of some person. And more than ever, I would love for you to share that person with me. I also think some of you are going to look at this and go, you know, maybe she does know what she's talking about. Maybe those years of research and rubbing elbows with medical doctors and biochemists and epidemiologists and physical therapists and chiropractors, scientists in and out of the medical field. Maybe she's learned a few things. Maybe what if this works? What if she's right? So I invite you to that. And if you've stayed with me this long, you've probably got connections to me through Messenger, text, or email. You can type out an email to me. I'll send you the Zoom link. I'm not going to put it on here because I don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry just lurking around. But I will send it to you if you're serious about getting the information. And please rest assured, I really don't care what you think at the end. The only thing I care about is that you know. So having said that, thank you so much for getting through this. Sorry it took me 20 minutes. I was really shooting for 10. But those of you who know me know that it usually takes me 10 minutes to say hello. So thanks for sticking with me. And I hope that you'll go forward, even if you don't join me on the Zoom today or maybe next week or whenever, we do these regularly. If this just totally is not your thing, I do pray that you stay healthy and that you stay safe, and most importantly, that you stay free, totally free to be you, to live in harmony with the people who don't understand your freedom. That's my hope. That's my prayer as an American, as a woman, as a parent, as a grandparent. I just want you to be free. So, having said that, I thank you for your time, and God bless you in everything you do.